Welcome to your life.
What's happening, everyone? I am Sir James from Gamerfuzion.com, and today I'm here to provide you with my review for Assassin's Creed Unity. Now, in the game, going over the story without giving any spoilers whatsoever, you are an employee of Abstergo. Now, Abstergo, as you guys know, are pretty much the bad guys, the Templars, and in this game, they're on the hunt for the next sage. Thankfully, you team up with a couple familiar faces from past Assassin's Creed titles who inform you that, hey, listen, you're working for the bad guys and we need your help to find the sage and to make sure they don't capture him, and they have this whole information as to why they're trying to find the sage. Also, at the same time, you're going to be playing through the story and playing as the character known as Arno. Now, Arno, he is feeling guilty about Elisa's father's death, and he joins the Brotherhood to redeem himself. And of course, along the way, there is a love-built interest between his girlfriend, who is a Templar, while he is an assassin, and other things that are portraying in the game along the ways. But as I said, I don't want to spoil anything for you guys, so let's go ahead and jump into the graphics. Going over the graphics, visually this game is just beautiful to look at. You can tell that the art department put a lot of detail into this game, to the buildings, the historical buildings, the amount of life and detail that's going on around the city around you. Oftentimes I found myself is just walking down every little section of the game just to see what's going on, to see what kind of vendors are there, what the people are doing, to visit some of the historical locations, just taking a look at the detail, even where I'm climbing some of the higher buildings in the game and just having an overhead view, seeing how large this game is. I mean, it's truly a large game. There's so many different sections you can go into, so many things to do, and just overall it's probably one of the best looking Assassin's Creed games I've seen up to date, all thanks to the new engine. Not only that, just the fact that the amount of NPCs they added into the game, it truly feels like a live experience. I mean, unlike past Assassin's Creed games where every time you enter a zone it doesn't feel as, it doesn't feel like it's full of life. Here, it's easily full of life because there's people riding, people getting robbed, people getting murdered, fights happening in every little section. I mean, it was truly a next-gen experience, and I gotta give it props to the art department for this title. Now, as we jump into the gameplay, this is where the meat portion of the game is, and I gotta say, it's a very tasty treat. Now, if you're familiar with past Assassin's Creed titles, then the gameplay shouldn't be too complicated for you to understand, but there is new additions and improvements along the way. For example, the Hidden Blade is now known as the Phantom Blade, which is basically like a mini crossbow attachment where you could use arrows or berserk darts against your enemies. It's pretty much ideal for close to mid-range combat, not something you would use for long range. However, if there is a weapon you want to use for long range, get this. You can actually choose what kind of weapons you want to wield, and you can change the look of your assassin. I kid you not, there is a character customization where you can choose from a variety of different styles and looks for your assassin and different weapons to choose from. So maybe you prefer, or your personal favorite is one-handed weapons. You have a variety of different one-handed weapons to choose from. Maybe you like spears. There's a variety of different spears to choose from. And by variety, meaning that obviously the higher levels not only are going to be more expensive, but they'll do more damage and have better advantages, in which you could also upgrade to add modifiers. And of course, there's also rifles you can have, so maybe you prefer shooting your target from a long range, especially during assassination missions, which I did a couple of those, and I gotta say, extremely useful. And just all kinds of different things. So a nice character customization, and the fact that you can wield all sorts of different weapons within the game is just a nice change. You also have a skill set which you could learn new abilities, for example, to do a double assassination within the air, things like blending into the environment, having disguise, even adding features to your co-op playthrough where you're able to share your eagle vision with your allies. And yes, I said co-op. This game does feature cooperative gameplay for the first time in an Assassin's Creed title. I gotta say, it's a lot of fun. Now, when you do co-op missions, it'll tell you right on the spot if it's like, okay, suited for not one player, 2 players, 3 players, 4 players. There's even heist missions where you team up to 4 assassins, you and 3 other people, and you do a heist mission where you get all kinds of crazy loot and currency. Yeah, that's a lot of fun, especially when you have a nice team together. Everyone's got high-powered weapons, and you're just dominating everything in your way. And it's, just the amount of teamwork you could put in. And of course, just like any story mission, you could easily play however it is you want to play. Maybe you want to charge in head-on, but sometimes it's not the best choice because the enemies are a bit tougher in this game, especially the fact that each enemy has kind of a rank symbol above them, up to a total of 5. So obviously, the higher the stars, the stronger they are, the lower they are, the weaker they are. So especially when you get to the higher missions, it is divided into different difficulties. But the fact is, either you can choose to kind of rush head into your mission. You can choose that. You could choose all kinds of alternate pathways, which in the very beginning it tells you right on the spot, okay, there's a total of 14 different entrances that you can use to get to your target. There's a couple secret entrances. So however it is that you want to do your mission, that choice is given to you. So whatever it is that you want to do, go for it. So it's totally up to you. It's your playthrough. You can do whatever it is that you want. And everyone likes having choices. So whether you like to go head on, stealth, mixture of both. Me, I like to mix it up a bit. I mean, sometimes I get kind of tired of doing stealth all the time, and then I just want to let the world know that I am not someone to mess with within the game. Of course, you could also go and have club assignments as well. You could actually go and create your own club. You can invite your friends to your game, just run around and do all kinds of crazy stuff, maybe solve crimes. You could even go and take care of criminals on the street. And what kind of criminals? Well, people are getting robbed all the time, so you can go and tackle thieves, which one of the down aspects for the game, which kind of felt a bit empty, is when you tackle a thief, that's all that happens. You tackle the thief, and that's it, and you kind of get like a citizen point, and if you rank up enough, then you'll get rewards for that. And it's not like you tackle the thief and you go take back the stolen belongings back to the rightful owners, anything like that. So that one kind of felt a bit iffy, but so far the mechanics were pretty cool. There's even a new mechanic for dropping down from higher ledges. For example, before it used to be, okay, in order to get down fast, you just simply drop into a haystack down below. They do have a nice new mechanic where you're easily able to drop down smoothly or have access to buildings. I forget the name of it, but it's a really cool mechanic. They also have a cover system as well, which you can use that to go to from a cover to cover basics, especially if you're taking your missions with a stealth aspect. And of course using that for cooperative play as well. But the thing is that the gameplay is familiar. They do have improvements. There is some things that it is missing though. For example, some of the portions where I was getting shot at a lot, they have like kind of a dodge mechanic, but it's really hard because you have multiple enemies shooting at you. One of the things I wish that they've had was the mechanic that was featured in Assassin's Creed 3, where you're able to grab a hold of someone and use them as a human shield so they'll take the shot, and thus making you pretty much without a scratch. So and that was a mechanic I felt was missing. Another mechanic that I felt that should have been in there is when you have a stack of bodies, instead of just holding down the B button, or depending on what platform you're playing on, of course, where he's automatically going to start looting whatever bodies are nearby, you have to simply press the button each time you want to loot a body, one at a time. So like I said, there's just a few small issues I wish they'll kind of have added, which either maybe they could add with a patch, or maybe hopefully the next Assassin's Creed title they'll take some of the good aspects and make sure that's in, for the next upcoming one. But overall, the gameplay was great. I like the fact that each weapon felt different. Each weapon had a variety of different finishing moves, especially with the spear. I've seen some moves that I've seen in the movie 300. I was like, oh my god, did he just do that? And it's just, yeah, it was crazy. It's a lot of fun. Co-op is definitely a must. And of course, not only that, there's a bunch of side activities you can do, side missions. And just overall, the gameplay was really fun and enjoyable, something that you guys will definitely like.
What the devil was that about? Now, we can resolve this without recourse to violence, can't we? Get him, Yuko!
As for the sound portion of the game, I think the sound department, along with other departments, did a really good job making sure the city felt alive. At the same time, the voice actors did a really good job portraying as their roles, and I gotta give them props for their French, because a lot of these words were words that I was having a hard time with. But I do like the fact that Arno as a character, he was very relatable, because as a kid he kind of got into trouble. As a teenager he still did, but as the game progresses you do see character development from someone who would always get into trouble and to the point where he takes life serious, especially with his love interest Elise. In this case you don't see a huge amount of character development with her, but you do see the love interest developed over time as well. Even the fact that Elise is working on the side of Templars and Arno is on the side of Assassins. And of course, let us not forget the in-game soundtrack, which was also really enjoyable to listen to. Now, as we get to the game's lifespan, what's going to make players want to come back to play this game more? Well, first off, co-op. There's co-op in the game, and that's definitely a big lifespan right off the bat. The fact that you can connect with your friends to roam around the city, the fact that you can connect with other people to participate in co-op missions, or even up to 4 players for heist missions, is already a big advantage enough in terms of the replay value. And of course, just like any and all Assassin's Creed games, not only do you have the main campaign, but you also have a vast variety of side missions and collectibles to complete. And also, if you're one of those people who like to get 100% completion, you can always go back and replay the single player campaign to try to get 100% synchronized, and that way you'll get whatever extra bonuses that the game has to offer. But overall, the way I see it, the game has a huge lifespan. This is definitely something you're going to be missing out on if you don't pick it up. Now, as for the innovation, was there anything new here, or was this something that we were seeing before? There is definitely some innovation. The fact that they are using a new engine, making some improvements to not only the gameplay mechanics, but in means of transportation, getting down from higher ledges, and all kinds of different little segments. The fact that you also have the ability to kind of create the look of your assassin, change the color scheme, even change from a variety of different weapons that you want to use, and the addition of co-op. So yeah, there's a lot of changes here, but that doesn't mean this is the next perfect Assassin's Creed game. There were some flaws and errors that I did notice, some mechanics that were featured in past Assassin's Creed titles that I wish were featured here. For example, the ability to grab onto an enemy unit and use them as a human shield so you don't get shot, because the dodge mechanic was a bit iffy. The option to hold down the loot system and it'll automatically loot the other bodies around you within the facility, and just other small little things. And of course, one of the little, I would say it's going to be a huge issue for some people, I kind of got tired of seeing it myself, is the loading times for the screen. When you're, for example, fast traveling from one location to another, just the how long it takes for the load screen is just crazy, and it's going to drive people insane. So my recommendation is, if you want to fast travel, I think it's a lot faster if you just run there, honestly, because by the time the load screen's done, you could already be there by the time you just run there. So yeah, I mean, like I said, there's still some small issues, and hopefully maybe the next installment they'll take some of the good portions from other Assassin's Creed games, the good portions from here, and incorporate that into the next installment. But overall, I had a great time with this title. The story was interesting. I did like the characters. The gameplay was a lot of fun. I did like the improvements that they've added to the game. It does have a lot of replay value. The co-op is excellent. But overall, I'm going to give this game a 9 out of 10. Like I said, there's some small little issues, and of course with some patches it can fix some of the issues, but not all of them. But like I said, in the end, I'm giving this game a 9 out of 10. Definitely a must-have to pick up if you're a fan of the Assassin's Creed. But anyways, I am Sir James from Gamerfuzion. If you guys want to see some gameplay, I do have a playlist provided in the description down below. And always remember, guys, Gamerfuzion empowers your gaming.